Okay, good afternoon, class. So at this point, we're looking at probability. The first half of the lesson, we wrote a little test dealing with finance and the first part of probability. Okay. So now we're still looking at Venn diagrams. At this point, we are looking at. We did all of this here already. We did 3 lessons on this already. We did example 1, eh? Yes. So now we're looking at example 2. Example 2 is on page. Sorry? 403. Alright, so here we are told that in grade 11, a group of 65 learners, so we draw our Venn diagram first. There are 65 learners. There are 5 learners who take physical science, life science and geography. So we have physical science, life science and geo. So since 5 takes all 3, 5 will go in the middle. Okay? 8 do not take any of these subjects, so 8 is on the outside. 32 takes physical science, so that is 32. 29 takes life science, which is 29. And 19 takes geography. 13 of these learners take geography and life science. 13 takes geography and life science. So that 13 will be represented there. But 5 of the 13 is already accounted for. Can you see that? So I take 5 of the 13, I get 8. All agree with that? Huh? Yes? And so 13 of these learners take physical science and life science. Well, 8 takes physical science and geography. Physical science and geography. How many? 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. Again, all of that, 8 would cover all of those as indicated. Okay? Well, 8 takes physical science. Draw a Venn diagram to illustrate the data. Okay, so there I got this here. So what can be calculated at this point? I can calculate geography only.
Sir?
Yes?
The 8 is supposed to impact physics and life science, which is on top of the 5. We don't take that life science and geography.
Okay, I wrote 8 in the wrong place. This one.
Yes.
Okay? That 8 actually belongs here. You can read again. And 8 learners do not, oops, no. While 8 takes physical science and geography. Physical science and geography is 8. So this is physical science and geography. 13, oh, I underlined the wrong one. 13 of these learners takes physical science and life science. The physical science and life science, I'm supposed to have marked that, I've marked the wrong one. Okay, you all agree with that? Okay, because when I was adding now, it didn't make sense either. Okay, now it should be making sense. Alright, so what can be calculated at this point? What can be calculated at this point? The number that does physical science only. Not so. So we know that that plus that plus that plus that adds up to 32. So in other words, it's the same as saying 32 minus 8 minus 8, which is going to give you 8. Is that correct? You check. 32 minus 8 is 24 minus, no, 16.
Yes.
You guys just shake your head there at the back. Don't just say yes. Okay, so it's going to be 32 minus 8 minus 8. 16. So what can anything else be calculated at this point? No, not so. So what I do is, I now introduce a variable to the sum. Okay, I say let the number of learners doing life science and geo. You see that common, what's the name there? Common element there. Let the number of learners doing life science and geo only equal x. You see I'm introducing the x now. Okay. So if that is x, people, then what would this here be? That would be that unknown is equal to 19 minus, remember all this adds up to 19. Not so? So what we say is, so that unknown there is equal to 19 minus x minus 3 minus 5, which is 11 minus x. So that is going to be 11 minus x. Okay. So this is the other unknown, which is this one here. That plus 8 plus 5 plus x adds up to 29, not so? So it's the same as saying that unknown is equal to 29 minus 8 minus 5 minus x. 29 minus 8 is 21 minus 5, 16 minus x. So that's going to be 16 minus x. Okay. Let's look at the next question. So normally what I do is I solve for x at this point. Okay? But sometimes in the next question they only ask you to solve for x. So here we are told a learner is chosen at random from the group of 65 learners. Determine each of the following. Okay, so at this point they didn't ask you to calculate x. So I'm going to take it upon myself to calculate x at this point. Okay? As I said, sometimes they ask you to calculate x in the next sum. Okay? But you need to know what x is at this point to calculate those probabilities. Okay? So what are we saying? We're saying that this whole subset here adds up to what? This whole subset adds up to 29. So instead of saying 8 plus 5 plus x plus 16 minus x equal to 29, and I add the rest, I can just replace those four entries with 29. Does it make sense? But if you want to write those numbers out, no problem. You'll still get the same answer. So this will be 29 plus, so that is already accounted for, no? Plus 11 minus x, plus 3, plus 16, plus 8, which is this 8 on the outside, is equal to 65. Did you see that? So I got negative x is equal to 65 minus 29 minus 11 minus 3 minus 16 minus 8. Gives you negative 2. So x is equal to 2. Okay. So what that I can fill in now the rest of the information. Okay. So this is now 2. What was in this empty circle here? 16 minus x, so it's going to give you 14. Not so? What was in the space here? So it's going to give you 9. You guys see that? Now we can answer the question. Let's look at the first question. So the first question says, B1. It says, a learner is chosen at random from the group of 65 learners. Determine each of the following probabilities. The learner chosen will take physical science only. Physical science only is going to be 16 minus 6, which is 14. The probability for physical science only is 14 over 65. 16. Why 16? Why am I even looking at 16? So 16 over 65. Sorry, man. Okay, is that in the simplest form? Yes? Let's look at B2. The learner will take physical science and geography, but not life science. Physical science and geo, but not life science. So you're taking all what is of life science out. So physical science and geo. So it's 3. Can you see that, people? Whatever that said, physical science or life science, sorry, physical science or geo, but not life science, then I would have said 16 plus 3 plus 9. Can you see that? You would say or. However, if it says and, you're going to look where it overlaps. Okay, the intersection. Does it make sense? So let's go. So it's going to give you, the probability will be 3 out of 65. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says the learner chosen will take life science and geo, but not physics. Life science and geography, but not physics. So that's going to give you 2 out of 65. Okay? Any confusion there, people? Did the answer correct? Huh? Yes. Okay. Any confusion? No. So with this, you should be able to do exercise 12.3. So we'll start the video at this point.